What do you say? You ready to kick it?
Kick what?
Honey, why do you still have your PJs on?
It's been pretty busy around here.
Let's talk about what you would do if you had more than two categories. In the previous example, we just used 0 or 1. 0 was female and 1 was male. Here, we're going to talk about a printer data set. It's made up, but it has all these famous companies. And if we wanted to include that categorical effect, we might be tempted to expand the trick we used before with 0 and 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5. This does not work. The reason is because this implies Lexmark belongs between Canon and Xerox. That might not be true. Even if you somehow did say that Lexmark belonged between them, does it belong exactly between them? 3 is just as different from 2 as 5 is from 4. Is Panasonic the same distance away from Xerox as Lexmark is away from Canon? No, okay, we just want to account for the fact that there's different companies. So we want to use the 0-1 trick because that works well, but we can't turn a variable that has more than two options into just 0-1. What can we do? Let's focus only on Canon for a second. If Canon was the only printer we were interested in, then we would basically have Canon and others. Canon and others. When we do that, then we have back to a 0-1 situation like male or female, where there's only two options. So here's the column for Canon. Notice there were two places where we were talking about Canon printers, and so we have a 1 there for those two places. But this isn't enough because we've lost the ability to tell Panasonic versus HP, for example. So if we wanted to be able to know where the HP printers were, we would need another column. And now we can see the HP printers and we can see the Canon printers. Of course, you can't have 1, 1 on both because that would mean it was Canon and HP at the same time. That doesn't make sense. Our categorical variable is a specific make for each type of printer. We can expand this trick to include Xerox. Are we done? No, because we still can't tell Panasonic, Lexmark, and Epson apart from each other. But let's put Panasonic and Lexmark, and now I'm running out of room on my board, but think about it. Do I actually need to specify the last one for Epson? In other words, if I erased this column so that I wasn't using it anymore, could you still figure out which of these rows had Epson? And the answer is, yeah, it's the row that's all zeros. Because if they're all zeros, then it wasn't any of these others. It must be the last one. So adding a row for Epson doesn't actually add any information to our model. So we don't actually need all 6 of these. You need 5, and then the last one is obvious. You can figure it out on your own just based off it being all the zeros. So what we're going to do is not give all 6 columns to R. This is what R does automatically. Picks one of the columns to take out, and it's called the baseline. That's the column of all zeros in the other categories. How does it pick? It does it alphabetically. So in this case, Canon would be the one to go out because C is alphabetically first. So what R is going to do is create these 0 or 1s for all the categories, except not for the Canon category. It's going to forget the categorical stuff, and now what's left is all numerical that a computer can handle, and this is what it actually uses to run the analysis. Here is the printer's data set, and here we have Epson, HP, all these different companies. Canon is the one that's alphabetically going to be chosen as the baseline. The notation for my fit is going to be just the same as before. I'm trying to predict how much time it takes for the printer to work based off how many pages and what type of printer we have. And I realize I'm running out of time for this video, so we'll talk about how to interpret this later. But here's the part I want you to notice. We have a make Xerox. The computer used zeros and ones for Xerox or not, Panasonic, Lexmark, HP, Epson. Who's missing? Canon is missing because it's become the baseline. Essentially, Canon is not all the others. So in the next video, we're going to walk through slowly how do you find out where each of these numbers goes and how does each number fit for each of these different printers.